From BBC Learning English, this is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines.
In this programme, the end of discs for PlayStation games.
Hello, I'm Georgie.
And I'm Pippa.
In this programme, we look at one big news story and the vocabulary in the headlines that will help you understand it.
You can find all the vocabulary and headlines from this episode, as well as a worksheet on our website, bbclearningenglish.com.
Okay, Pippa, let's hear more about this story.
New PlayStation games will no longer be released on discs from January 2028, the gaming giant has announced.
PlayStation's owner, Sony, said that games will still be able to be bought in shops, but they would come with a digital code.
There has been criticism of the decision from some gamers online.
But Sony says it has to adapt to consumer trends and a growing preference for digital downloads over physical discs.
Let's have our first headline. This is from Tweaktown, a technology news site. PlayStation outrage hits new heights as Sony offers 50% discounts to gamers jumping ship.
And that headline again. PlayStation outrage hits new heights as Sony offers 50% discounts to gamers jumping ship. And that is from Tweaktown.
This headline says outrage at PlayStation's decision has hit new heights. That means it's bigger than it's been before. But we're interested in this phrase, jumping ship.
Yes, jump ship is a metaphor and it means to leave or quit something.
Yeah, it comes from the idea of real ships. If something bad happens and the ship is sinking, for example, Georgie, people might jump ship and dive into the water because they believe they will no longer be safe as part of the crew on the ship.
Yes, so if you jump ship metaphorically, you decide to leave or quit.
In this story, Sony is offering discounts to gamers jumping ship. That means gamers who are cancelling their subscriptions and leaving the company.
We've had jump ship, leave somewhere, or quit something.
For example, after all the scandals at the company, many employees are jumping ship and looking for other jobs.
This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. Today we're talking about the end of discs at PlayStation.
The announcement from PlayStation has been criticised by some gamers and gaming journalists.
Some gamers like to lend discs to friends or sell them on when completed to save money, and it's not clear whether resale will be possible with digital games in the future.
But some gamers think discs are outdated.
Let's have another headline. This one is from Polygon, a gaming news platform. I won't mourn PlayStation discs.
That headline again from Polygon. I won't mourn PlayStation discs.
So this is an opinion article which argues that discs were never the best physical format for games. We're interested in the noun mourn. Pippa, what can you tell us?
Well, literally, mourn is often used when someone has died. If you mourn a person, you feel and show great sadness about their death.
That's right. We can also describe people who attend a funeral as mourners.
But in this headline, mourn is used metaphorically. PlayStation will no longer be using discs for games, and so it feels like discs are lost or have died, and people feel very sad about this.
Yes, so some people will mourn the loss of discs, but the headline writer won't mourn the discs. They're not sad about it.
We commonly use mourn to talk about things ending or being lost, and it doesn't have to be in a serious context.
Yeah, so for example, my local cafe took my favourite sandwich off the menu, and I'm mourning the loss of that sandwich. It was so delicious.
We've had mourn, feel and show great sadness about the end of something.
For example, I mourned my school days when I left and got a job. I really missed seeing my friends every day.
This is Learning English from the News from BBC Learning English. We're talking about PlayStation's announcement they won't make physical games on discs from 2028.
As we've mentioned, lots of people aren't happy about PlayStation's decision.
Whilst many people download games, Some gamers prefer to have a physical disc to feel like they own the game, and they worried that if games are only digital, they could lose them in the future.
Many people have commented negatively online about the story. We might call this criticism and anger a backlash.
But as we've heard, Sony says that it's just adapting to what consumers are doing already.
Let's have another headline. This one is from Business Insider, a business news website. The backlash against Sony ditching PlayStation discs is not letting up.
That headline again from Business Insider. The backlash against Sony ditching PlayStation discs is not letting up.
So this headline talks about the backlash against the decision to stop using discs.
We're interested in this phrase, not letting up. What can you tell us, Georgie?
Well, if something lets up, it eases or gets less severe.
So, if the backlash is not letting up, it means the backlash is continuing and isn't getting any less severe.
We can also use a noun form of this phrase. We can say there is no let-up. So, for example, there's no let-up online for PlayStation. Lots of gamers are still criticising them.
We use this idea of let-up to describe situations that are intense or ongoing. It's common for situations where there's anger and backlash, but it could also be used to describe something that is difficult and lasts a long time.
For example, I used to work in a bar, and during the summer it was so busy, the crowds just didn't let up all day.
Or, my niece and nephew spent all weekend arguing with each other. They just wouldn't let up.
So all the examples we're using here are in the negative, not let up. Do we ever use it in the positive form, let up?
We do mostly use it negatively, but you can use it positively. For example, to talk about the weather. I could say, we'll head out to the shops once the rain lets up, meaning once the rain gets less severe.
We've had let up, ease or get less severe.
For example, the traffic is always busy on Fridays in my town. It just won't let up.
That's it for this episode of Learning English from the News. We'll be back next week with another news story.
Why not sign up to our email newsletter to get the latest programs from us? There's a new email every Wednesday, and you can sign up using the link in the notes below this program. Bye for now.
Goodbye.